Hi everyone, and thanks for joining me today. So today I've got another makes video for you. So this is going to be all the stuff that I've made in July. I think I've been quite productive from my pile of stuff which I've got over here to show you. But I thought I'll start off by showing you what I'm wearing right now. So this is two things that I've made to show you this month actually, although technically the vest I made a couple of months ago, but it was a test, a pattern test, so I've only just been like showing people since. I have worn it a lot though, so it may have been like in the background and layered with other things, but never actually kind of explained what it was, but I will do that today. So if we start with the vest then, so this white little tank top that I've got on under here is the new pattern from Sew House 7 called the Underwood tank. And it comes as either a top, mini dress length or maxi dress length. And it is just, you know, one of those wardrobe basics, especially for the summer, and just one of those pieces that you just end up wearing all the time, which is what I've found, because literally I wear this under everything. I've made mine with a bamboo jersey, which works really well for this kind of pattern. You know, when you just want something quite soft, quite drapey, and you know, you're not gonna have to worry about it like sticking to you and like breathability and all of those kind of things. Because obviously we think about all of that when we're picking up fabric. Anyway, what I'm wearing it with is one of my favourite recent makes actually. This is a hack that I've done of the Amy jumpsuit from Closet Case Patterns. Now the Amy jumpsuit was a PDF only release. I made one a couple of months ago, so you can look back in my old videos. I cannot remember for the life of me what month that was, but there you can see that one in action a little while ago. So it's basically just this really wide-legged jumpsuit with little straps and things. Anyway, putting that aside, I kept seeing this image of this jumpsuit, this dungaree style jumpsuit that I really wanted to make. I'm talking like all over my Pinterest. I'd see it in shops, markets, literally everywhere, or this kind of linen style jumpsuit with this, you know, really easy wearing, really comfortable, wide legged, almost Japanese style garment. So I thought, you know what, I might as well just make my own one. And the Amy jumpsuit's a really good base for that because it's already got that wide leg, which is part of that design. In fact, I will pop up a little photo of what that kind of original inspiration looked like. I'm sure you'll recognise it. I'm pretty sure it kind of just been me that kept seeing that everywhere, you know. Anyway, with the Amy jumpsuit, and then what I did to adjust that pattern to do that dungaree style was to basically just cut it straight across the top here to remove that little bit of a curve they had on the front and on the back. I brought it in slightly on the top, and then basically just a really big deep curve to where the pocket notch was on each side. I did the same on the back, and then created my own facings and longer straps to fit that in. So actually a really simple hack, and something I think everybody could do if you wanted to make this style. Yeah, just super easy. And if you bear with me, I'll just stand up and give you a tour. So this is what the jumpsuit looks like. I've kept my legs quite long. I don't know if you can see the ends of this. It's quite hard to get a full body shot this way around. And it's got this super wide leg pant, and then the front panels and back panels are one piece. So, you know, there's got the center C, but there's essentially one piece on each kind of quarter there. I added on some patch pockets on the bum, which I've actually made slightly too low for my body. And that's because I put them on before I actually tried it on. Don't do that if you're doing this. It's a much better idea to try it on first, finish it off, and then get the pockets on afterwards. It's a bit more fiddly getting the pockets on, but you'll get them in a slightly better position. But otherwise, I didn't, apart from what I showed you already, so it's the deep curve on each side, and that meant that I could eliminate the side zip because the jumpsuit otherwise has a little side zip from under the arm to about the hip area down here. So apart from that, I didn't have to make any changes, just put the facing in there, and it meant that it was actually really quick to sew, because without the closure in there, there's like no fiddly bits whatsoever. It's just a case of those main big seams, and because they're quite big pattern pieces and there's not very many of them, it's one of those, you know, couple of hours and you're done. The fabric that I used for this is a striped linen that I got from the new craft house. There may still be a little bit of it left actually, see if I can link to it down below, and it's just really lovely and soft and drapey, and you know, perfect for those really hot sticky summer days, which we're getting quite a few of at the moment because it's getting ridiculously humid here in the UK. And I know that's a very British thing to complain about the weather, we just can't help it. Anyway, it's just so comfy. I feel like this is going to be one of those things that I'll put on when I can't be bothered to put on like real clothes. This is going to be my secret pajamas and just what I want to wear when I'm just lounging around the house in. It also for some reason makes me feel really arty. Like I feel like this is something someone would wear in their art studio and painting all day. Yeah, it's pretty niche, but that's how I feel with it. Anyway, I'm going to move on to my next outfit to show you. So, this next outfit is another set of dungarees. I'm clearly on a bit of a dungaree roll at the moment. So this is very slightly grubby, but don't mind that. I wore this to the Magnum pop-up store the other day. Anyway, this dungaree pattern is from a floral shop in Leeds, I want to say, called Hello Workshop. They've started doing their own pattern collection. They approached me and see if I wanted to try one of their patterns out, and I was really in the mood to say no, but actually I saw their dungaree patterns and I really thought it would be fun to try. If nothing else, I really like their style. I don't think that their patterns are anything kind of out of the ordinary. I think that a lot of the designs you can probably find from other pattern makers, and they're, you know, quite simple for a lot of them, but they've got an eye for styling that makes me feel like, you know, you're buying from some kind of chic Scandi website, which I know is not a reason to buy stuff from them, but you know, it makes all their clothing, their sample garments, the way that they just lay out their lookbooks and things like that, it just, you know, really caught my eye. Anyway, so I thought I'd try something out from them. And I made the dungarees. This is called the Hayley dungarees. I made this in a stretch lilac denim that I got from So Many Sunshine, which, you know, I look like I'm 4, but I don't care. I love it. I do. I am very aware that I look like a toddler in it though. But they're really comfy. The pattern actually doesn't call for stretch denim. I decided to make it in stretch anyway, mostly because I really wanted something in this colour, and this was the best one that I found, and also, you know, just that added degree of comfort really. Now I did have to make some changes to the pattern itself, not in terms of the actual kind of size and shape. I made a size 14 without any changes to it apart from the length. Oh, that's the other thing, they've got a very limited size range, so if you're definitely on the bigger scale of things, not one that I think is worth necessarily looking into, because it only goes up to a UK 16. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Anyway, the patterns are really simplistic. Perhaps too simplistic in my opinion, and same with the instructions. It's definitely not for beginners, and they do say that. They do say that they are making these with very much for a person who knows what they're doing, you know. Anyway, back to where I was. I feel like I keep going off on tangents. Sorry about the light changing, by the way. It's one of those days. Again, cloud cover comes, it goes. You'll get a little burst of sunshine through. So yeah, that's what's going on outside. Let me start again. The Hayley dungarees. So it's kind of got a loose wide leg pant, quite a loose fit, very comfortable fit. So dungarees, which I quite like, because I've got a pair of ready to wear ones which are quite fitted, which I love, and I don't see the point of making something that's exactly the same as those. So this is a very different style. Okay, I made some changes to it. Firstly, I added these little loops So I'm going to undo this just so you can see what I've actually done. So I've added essentially belt loops onto each corner on each side, and literally made those in the same way that you'd make belt loops. I just turned them in on each shelf and top stitched over it. If anyone knows the brand Lucy and Yak, that is what I was trying to emulate with these. Basically it's ready-to-wear brand that does something very, very similar, and I just really like that style. I just kind of like having these loopy bits coming down. So that's a really, really easy hack to do, and it means that you don't need to worry about buttons and buttonholes and things like that as well. So a great cop out if you don't like doing those kind of things. Essentially I just left the straps really long. I didn't actually add or change anything to them. These are the actual lengths the straps came in. I know, the very long way. And then just added these extra little loops in. And then for the finishing, I added a facing onto this, so you can see this kind of flappy bit on the inside. The pattern actually calls for you to just turn the edges over and top stitch it down, which I felt was really odd, considering the finish that I would do even for other basic beginner patterns. And I knew that I wouldn't be happy with a finish like that, so I decided to just draft my own facing. If you don't know how to do that, it's really easy. Essentially you're just tracing out the very top part of your pattern, your bodice, whatever it is that you're making the facing of. I decided to cut my facing in a single piece, so I took out the seam allowance in the middle, put it on the fold, and then used that. What I forgot to do on these is actually interface the facing. I know it's terrible, right? But if you are planning to do anything like that, make sure that you're using the right interfacing and everything. It does make a big difference. The other thing that I did with this pattern is add on a lot of pockets. So the pattern originally comes with just the front pocket here. I added in some side seam pockets on each side and some pockets on the bum too. I don't know if you can see it on there, but I angled this bit here. So again, on the pattern it's cut completely straight, but I know that if I were to then make the straps exactly kind of dead on, so the straps are going straight upwards, it's going to pucker here. So I decided to angle them so it comes out at a natural V shape, where those straps come through, so that it just sits a bit better against my body. So, cut a long story short, it's a nice pattern. It's quite a nice design. I think that it could do a bit of work in terms of for the end buyer, as in I like what I've made, but this isn't what you're getting with the pattern, if that makes sense. It's very easy to make the adjustments that I have made to it, so by all means, if you're happy to do that, don't let that put you off getting it. Just wanted to make sure that I was being honest about what I thought about these patterns. Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna move on swiftly and I'll show you what I made next. So this dress is the dress version of the Underwood tank, which is a Soho House 7 pattern that I was wearing earlier, that little white vest that I had on. I also made the Maxi version as part of my pattern test. Okay, so I've made mine in a viscose jersey. It has some elastane content and this like lovely brush prints pattern on it. I actually sold some of this in a D-stash a little while ago, so someone out there probably has the rest of this fabric. So I really like this pattern. I'm not quite sure I'm 100% convinced on the dress, although I know a lot of other people like it, as in like this version on me. I think it's just probably a little bit too A-line going into the hip and skirts compared to what I would probably want from a dress like this. I think I probably want a bit more of a columnar shape if I take it in, like, you know what I mean there. So I feel like it makes my hips look a bit bigger. That being said, I do really like this pattern. It is a breeze to sew. Like, it's literally just 2 pieces, front and back. You don't have to worry about the binding the neck or arms if you don't want to. it really depends on how stretchy your jersey is. So this stuff's pretty stretchy, so I got away with the method which just turns over the hem and then top stitches it down, which ironically I know that I was complaining about that with the Hayley dungarees, but it's a very different story when you're using jersey and finishing it like this, especially where I can almost like with the twin needles finish it off and it's like a cover stitch on it, which is essentially how jersey's finished. Anyway, it's got a side slit up both sides. Again, I would probably, if I made this again, make them higher. I just followed where the pattern instructions were, but it's obviously drafted for someone a fair bit taller than me. I just took length off the edge rather than like shortening it in the middle, just to make my life a little bit easier for me. There's a couple of options with the neckline, so you've got this kind of mid-rise like neck, kind of scoop neck, and then an option for either a low scoop back here or a higher back as well. See that properly. And the scoop back's really nice in that it just sits above your bra strap, so you don't have to worry about that being on show, but still get plenty of skin available there if that's the look that you're going for. But yeah, all in all, it's just one of those patterns that I think that if you have it, you'll go back to time and time again, because it's, you know, that got that air of simplicity. You know that if you say you needed something simple, straightforward to make, and that could be your kind of go-to pattern there. So yeah, I'll move on to the next outfit for you. So this next garment is yet another jumpsuit. I made 3 in a month. I probably need to stop, but don't know if that's gonna happen. Anyway, this is another pattern test. This is from Untitled Thoughts, an indie designer in the States, and I pattern tested the olive jumpsuit for her, which was a re-release. She actually released this, I think, quite a while ago, one of her first ones, and then has adapted it to add more styles and sizes and things to it. And that's why she kind of retested everything. So just to give you the lowdown on the pattern itself, so it comes with a few options. First, in terms of the leg, you've got a kind of a wide leg, a tapered leg, and a shorts. And for the top, has the same front bodice on all of them, and either the option for a really low V-neck, or which is like exposing quite a lot of your back, or if you wanted a bra-friendly version, they do that as well, which just comes out a bit higher there. I opted for the tapered leg version with the low back, just to be different, and that's what this is. I've made this in a tencel twill that I bought in Paris. I know it looks really familiar print-wise because there's a Lady McElroy cotton lawn out that's identical, same colourway, same design. I think the colour of this line, like this face line on it, is slightly different because I think it's grey on the Lady McElroy one, but just saying it, it's the same, okay? But they don't make it in the tencel, Lady McElroy here. Anyway, I got it in Paris at the Paris Social in May, and kind of wasn't sure what to do with it, but this jumpsuit seemed like a really good idea. And the pattern comes with kind of patch pockets on the front. The top bodice is fully lined front and back, and actually I found the construction of this really nice and easy. So because I opted for the low back version, which was like this, but I won't show you that, I'm afraid, but go with it. Because it's the low back, it meant that actually you don't need a closure for it, so no zips, nothing like that. And there's a waist casing around the middle here, which brings everything in, but otherwise you just jump right in, jump right out of it, and it's really easy. I've opted for a twill tape ribbon for my waist tie, mostly because I couldn't be bothered to turn out the strip for the pattern test. It wouldn't have made a difference in terms of my results or opinion from it, so I thought let's save that a little bit of time, because actually I quite like the idea of a bit of contrast in there. So this pattern is quite a bit different from what this version is compared to the released one, because the leg is a lot more narrow in the final version. So with the tapered leg, the original ones, they were still very, very roomy, and that has been taken out for a much slimmer fit. I am going to adjust these ones, I think, just to give me that shape that I wanted. So just take out a little bit of the width in the leg there. But otherwise, no, I quite like it. I love this fabric. I think that it's perfect for this kind of jumpsuit. It's got that bit of drape to it, but it's also quite sturdy feeling, like you're not going to feel like it's just going to like fall apart. I don't know if that's the right word for it. You know that feeling that you get if you're wearing like a cotton voile or lawn or something, just very, very thin. This is just, you know, that bit of body and a bit of strength to it. But yeah, I quite like it. I do want to make a version with the shorts. I do think that that would look really cute. And the shorts just comes up as with the wide legs, so probably quite similar to this and about this length. I think that would be another really cute summer pattern. Alright, so I've got one more outfit to show you now. So my last garment to show you is the Deer and Doe Magnolia dress. I made this as my last Minerva Crafts blog and knitwear make, and oh my god, I love this pattern. I really love Deer and Doe patterns actually. I don't think I've ever made one which I've not really enjoyed, so I don't know why I'm so surprised at how much I really like how this turned out. So if you don't know what the Magnolia pattern is, it was released from last year I believe. It's got this kind of faux v-neck wrap neckline, waistband, long full skirt and kind of poofy-ish sleeves. There is an option for a short version and a slightly less low cut version, and with big butterfly flutter sleeves as well, if you were so inclined to make that. I of course went for the Maxi version because I love a Maxi dress, and I used this really lovely peachy pink georgette for it, which is actually not the easiest fabric to work with. It is polyester. There was a very high risk of it melting when I was ironing it and all of that jazz. But it really like looks really lovely. It's got that really soft romantic vibe to it and feels really swishy on. The bodice itself is lined. I use, I don't know if you can see it, a little a peachy chiffon lining for the inside. And I just really love how this turned out. It's really quite fitted. It's got princess seams on the front there, and then just darts on the back, and then a little side zip down the side. To be honest, I'm not a fan of side zips. I never am. I just find them really clunky, both to put in and to wear. So that's not just a case of like getting it in is an issue. It's fine, I can put it in. I just, you know, getting it in, taking it on and off, like, not a fan. But that's personal preference, absolutely nothing to do with the pattern itself. So it's got these waist ties as well that go into the side seam. I really like how it looks at the front, although it is supposed to be tied at the back. I think I just love the interest, you know, the deep V coming into the bow at the front, so I've just been wearing it like that. Now the reason why I made this dress and why I wanted to make this dress was a bit of a trial. My little sister's getting married later this year, and I am in charge of making all the clothes. In other words, wedding dress, bridesmaids dresses, etc, etc. So this was going to be my trial for a potential bridesmaids dress, or at least the base of it, and I think I like it enough that that's what we're going to use, at least for my one. My other sister, who's the other bridesmaids, can pick what she likes, but for my one I think I'm going to do something that's got this as the base basically, so it's going to have the same kind of bodice and skirt, although I would really like a more dramatic sleeve for my one. I always feel like if you're going to do a big sleeve, go really big, don't do it half-heartedly like what this is, like, you know, what this is doing. So I'll probably do a bigger sleeve and then end with a cuff at the wrist and do that full length. It is a winter wedding, autumn wedding anyway, so having a little bit more coverage I think it's probably a good idea, because there'll be outdoor photos, it will be cold, and you know what, I'd like to be the warm sensible one of the group. So yeah, so that's all the clothes I've got to show you today. There's also one other thing that I have got to share with you. So the other thing I wanted to share with you that I've been making this month are these headbands. I've managed to make 3 already, and just can't seem to stop. Anyway, these big poofy padded headbands are like all the rage at the moment. All the royals are wearing them to weddings, and because of that they are now everywhere. So I thought I'd try to make my own, mostly because I think that actually most of them are really, really simple. So I did a braided one, so I don't know if you can see that a bit more closely there. And this just uses 3 strips of fabric rolled into each other and then braided together. It's all glued down, there's no sewing involved, and then I've just tipped the ends in ribbon there. So yeah, it's just a really easy to make, you know, 20-30 minutes of your time, and they look really cute. They kind of got that kind of preppy vibe to it. I don't know if it's just because of this fabric. I made one for a friend in a pink velvet, and I've actually still got some more of that left because I think I'm gonna make one for myself as well. They work really, really well in velvet, so it's something that you guys should definitely try. I'll link to my tutorial video down below and you guys can give it a go too. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this makes video. I'm sure there'll be more of these to come, although I am going to try to taper off making so much stuff for myself whilst I'm getting into wedding mode for my little sister, making her dress and all of that. What I probably will do in a few months' time is do a more in-depth video on the wedding dress and dressmaking process and all of that as well, and all of the wedding stuff that goes with it, because we're having a proper DIY wedding. I say it with all that excitement, it's not even my wedding, I just quite like doing event organising and planning and weddings and stuff anyway, so I'm just right in my element right now. So yeah, thank you for joining me, and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye!